vote. Go back to that 50 Cent post. Because I'm going to tell you why 50 is literally is a diabolical genius.
Let's dive into the world of the Diddy dynasty and explore what life has been like for his sons, Justin, Christian, aka King Combs, and Quincy. Growing up in the spotlight with one of the biggest names in music as their dad brings intense pressure, especially with the world constantly watching their every move. And let's be real, Diddy's legacy goes beyond music and business. It's a saga of success mixed with controversies that always seem to keep him in the headlines. So how do his sons navigate all that weight and attention? Let's break it down.
Diddy will be sued, and I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
First up, there's Christian Combs, Diddy's youngest biological son, who's been following closely in his dad's footsteps in more ways than one. He's fully embraced the flashy lifestyle that comes with being part of the Bad Boy Records family, but he's also working to make a name for himself as a rapper. That's no small feat when your dad is one of the biggest names in the industry, making comparisons inevitable. Christian leans hard into that bad boy persona with the chains, cars, and designer clothes. But the real challenge is this: how do you step out of your dad's shadow when the world still sees you as just Diddy's son?
We once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been down.
Forget the ongoing feud between Christian and 50 Cent, which has only added to the complications he faces. Christian recently dropped a diss track that got everyone talking, signaling he was ready to take on 50 head-on. But when you go after someone like 50 Cent, you have to be ready for the fallout because 50 never holds back. In his track, Christian took some serious shots, even referencing 50's iconic track Many Men and hinting that his dad's enemies wouldn't survive if they tried to take them down. A bold move, to say the least. But it didn't stop there. Christian also seemed to accidentally spill some tea about recent raids on Diddy's properties, with a line that had people raising their eyebrows. He basically admitted there was more evidence hidden in a house the feds missed during the raid. Talk about unintentionally snitching on your own father. It's a risky move that's only added fuel to the fire surrounding the Combs family.
If you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
Now, 50 Cent has been going after Diddy for years. This isn't some new beef that just appeared out of nowhere. For over a decade, 50 has been taking shots at Diddy, and he's been relentless. He's accused Diddy of everything from shady business practices to fueling some wild industry rumors. And let's not forget the infamous hospital bed post, where 50 implied that Diddy was on the down low, stirring up a storm of controversy. 50 has always loved to poke the bear, and while Diddy has mostly stayed quiet, with Christian now stepping into the ring, things look like they're about to get even messier.
I understand that it may be more attention than you usually get, but it'll be the kind of attention that when it goes away, you go away completely. Like there's nothing.
Here's where things get even crazier. Christian isn't the only one in the family navigating the weight of Diddy's influence and all the drama that comes with it. Justin Combs, Diddy's oldest biological son, has also faced his share of challenges. Remember when Diddy got into that heated altercation with Justin's UCLA coach? That incident had everyone talking, with people accusing Diddy of being overprotective, maybe even a bit too controlling when it comes to his kids. This theme isn't new. Diddy has a reputation for wanting control, whether it's in his personal life or business. So it's no surprise that Justin has had to manage the pressure of his dad's larger-than-life persona as he works to forge his own path.
I have information that he was arrested tonight at a Manhattan hotel. He is currently being processed. I heard from his attorney they are still maintaining his innocence. They said that in anticipation of these charges that Diddy relocated to New York last week.
But it's Quincy Diddy stepson who might have the most interesting story of all. Quincy is the son of Diddy's late partner Kim Porter, and I'll be sure, but Diddy raised him as his own. Quincy's career has taken a slightly different path. He's more into acting and modeling than following in Diddy's musical footsteps, which is probably for the best given all the drama surrounding the music industry right now. However, even Quincy couldn't escape Diddy's controlling nature. A few years back, Quincy wanted to sign a record deal with a different label, but Diddy wasn't having it. He reportedly blocked Quincy's deal, which led to some pretty serious tension between them. Quincy ended up walking away from Bad Boy Records, and while he's still close with the Combs family, that incident showed just how much control Diddy likes to have over the people in his life.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
And speaking of control, let's not forget the elephant in the room, the raids on Diddy's properties. Earlier this year, federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. And while Diddy's team has tried to downplay the whole thing, it's clear that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. Christian and Justin were both handcuffed during the raid. And it's been reported that law enforcement found some pretty incriminating stuff, including some items that were definitely not meant to be discovered. Christian's mention of the house next door and his diss track only added to the speculation that there's more to this story than meets the eye.
Just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
Feud between 50 Cent and Diddy. This isn't just about Christian's diss track. 50 Cent has been taking shots at Diddy for years, making it clear he believes there's something off about the way Diddy operates. From cryptic Instagram posts to thinly veiled jabs during interviews, 50 has been on a mission to expose what he sees as questionable behavior from Diddy, and he's not holding back. He even went as far as to describe Diddy's actions as fruity, a comment that definitely got people's attention. Then there's the shopping spree incident. According to 50, Diddy once offered to take him on an all-expenses-paid shopping trip, which left 50 feeling pretty uncomfortable. He's mentioned it in interviews, implying that he felt Diddy's intentions might have been more than just friendly.
Things that's not really beef though, that's just competitive energy,
Competitiveness.
All right, so you and Diddy, you and Puff cool?
No, I don't really rock with him
okay,
like that.
damn, all right.
Here's where things get even more intense. 50 Cent isn't just trolling Diddy on social media. He's reportedly working on a documentary designed to expose it all. He's bringing out receipts, video clips, and interviews from people who've worked with Diddy over the years, promising a full-blown takedown. 50 has been hinting at this project for a while, making it clear he won't stop until he brings down Diddy's entire empire. What's more, he's hired Hollywood producers to bring this documentary to life, showing just how serious he is. And let's be honest, if anyone can pull off something this bold, it's 50 Cent. He's got the resources, the connections, and the guts to go where others wouldn't dare.
I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not. So this is actually a real project that's being made under his G-Unit movie and TV.
So where does all of this leave Christian Combs? It's safe to say he's in a tough spot. On one hand, he's working hard to establish himself as a serious artist and step out of his dad's shadow. But on the other hand, he's got a massive target on his back due to his connection to Diddy and the ongoing feud with 50 Cent. Plus, with all the legal trouble surrounding his dad, it's hard to imagine Christian won't be pulled into the mess in some way. Let's not forget that Christian was already mentioned in a lawsuit filed against Diddy earlier this year, with claims that he and his brother Justin were involved in some questionable activities. Whether Christian can distance himself from all this drama is still up in the air. One thing's for sure though, he's got a long road ahead if he wants to build his own legacy outside of his father's.
A U.S. judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male sex workers across state lines to take part in recorded sexual performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
As for Justin, he seems to have stepped back from the spotlight in recent years, but that doesn't mean he's out of the woods. Being Diddy's son comes with its own set of challenges, and Justin has carried the weight of his father's reputation for years. The UCLA incident was just one example of how Diddy's actions have impacted his kids, and it's clear Justin has had to navigate some tricky waters when it comes to his relationship with his dad. Diddy's influence can be overbearing, and Justin has probably felt that more than anyone. Then there's Quincy, who seems the most removed from all the drama, at least for now. His focus on acting and modeling has allowed him to carve a path somewhat separate from his father's influence. But as we've seen before, no one in the Combs family is completely immune to the chaos surrounding Diddy. Quincy's decision to leave Bad Boy Records was a bold one, showing he's willing to stand up to his dad when needed. With everything going on now, though, it'll be interesting to see if Quincy continues to steer clear of the spotlight or if he'll eventually get pulled back into the fray.
But there's also strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendants, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take him to trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if they supersede him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial.
The ongoing drama between Diddy, his sons, and 50 Cent is far from over, and it's only going to intensify. Diddy isn't one to back down, and neither is 50 Cent, so we can expect plenty more fireworks in the coming months. With Diddy's legal troubles piling up, the stakes have never been higher. The Combs family is at a crossroads, and the choices they make in the near future could have a lasting impact on their legacy. Whether Christian, Justin, and Quincy can rise above the drama and define themselves on their own terms is still uncertain. But one thing's for sure, this story is far from over.
We haven't seen the indictments yet. There's been some time lag. I suppose it will take some time to go through all the forensic, evidence.
And everything he's built could be at risk. If the rumors are true, Diddy isn't just facing a few lawsuits or some bad press. This could be the beginning of the end for one of hip-hop's most powerful figures.
Crazy, like I said before, they said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm, and out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100, which seems like it's they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
In the music industry for decades, is now facing some of the most serious accusations the industry has ever seen: racketeering, trafficking, and even claims of forced labor. And this isn't just one or two people coming forward. It's a full-blown legal crisis, with more than a dozen individuals involved in lawsuits against him. These accusations span years, even decades, with some claims reaching back to the 1990s. The allegations keep piling up, and it seems like every day brings a new headline, another accusation, or someone else stepping forward.
Lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, sexual assault, and rape at the hands of Diddy.
It all began to unravel last year when Diddy's former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a civil lawsuit against him. If you're not familiar with Cassie, she was in a long-term relationship with Diddy for over a decade, and they were often seen as one of hip-hop's power couples. But behind the scenes, according to Cassie's claims, things were far from glamorous. In her lawsuit, Cassie alleged that Diddy trapped her in a cycle of physical and emotional abuse, controlling nearly every aspect of her life for over 10 years. She also claimed that he forced her into highly disturbing situations involving multiple people, none of which, according to her, was consensual. Cassie described feeling manipulated and coerced into things she never wanted to do, and after years of silence, she finally decided to speak out.
Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
Of guilt. But let's be real. Settling a lawsuit within 24 hours doesn't exactly scream, "I'm not guilty," does it? This rapid settlement sent shockwaves through the industry, and it didn't take long before others began coming forward with their own stories.
Not done, and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
That's when things really began to spiral out of control for Diddy. Cassie's lawsuit opened the floodgates, and shortly after, more women, and even some men, filed lawsuits accusing him of similar behavior. They all tell a similar story. Diddy allegedly abused his power, manipulated people, and used his influence in the entertainment industry to get away with things most wouldn't even imagine. Some of the accusations are so shocking, they sound like something out of a movie. But here's the thing, people are taking these claims seriously, and now the legal system is getting involved in a big way.
The latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
The turning point came earlier this year when federal agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. These weren't just casual visits. The raids were part of a massive investigation that had reportedly been ongoing for months, if not years. According to reports, agents uncovered all kinds of incriminating evidence during the searches, items allegedly used in some of the disturbing acts Diddy is accused of. Adding to the gravity of the situation, firearms were also found on his properties, which brings another layer of legal trouble into the mix.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
The investigation that he's innocent and that all these accusations are merely a money grab by people trying to cash in on his success. But here's the thing, when federal agents are raiding your homes and multiple lawsuits are being filed against you, it's tough to dismiss it all as just a cash grab. This isn't just about one or two individuals making wild claims, it's about a pattern of behavior that has allegedly been going on for years. Now the legal system is finally catching up to him.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on side watch. This guy...
If Diddy is found guilty of even half of the accusations against him, he's facing some serious time behind bars, possibly even life in prison. That's right, life. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist or a mere fine. These are federal charges, and the government isn't playing around. They've reportedly interviewed over 50 witnesses and are building a case that could take down one of the biggest names in the entertainment industry. And if the rumors are true, this case could expand even further, with more charges being added and additional people brought in as defendants.
If that's part of the indictment, that's someone like a blackmail. He was blackmailing people to be in the freak-offs. So that's federal. That could be that's a federal charge. He can't blackmail people to say, yo, listen here, you did it once and you're going to do it again. That ain't going to make it with the government or nobody.
So what does all this mean for Diddy's business empire? Well, it's not looking good. Diddy has built an empire over the years with multiple revenue streams, from his record label to his partnership with Ciroc, his clothing line, and various other ventures. But when you're facing charges like this, it's hard to maintain business as usual. Brands thrive on image, and right now, Diddy's image is anything but clean. There have already been rumblings that some of his business partners are starting to distance themselves from him, and honestly, who can blame them? No one wants to be associated with someone facing such serious accusations. Let's talk about Bad Boy Records for a moment. This is the label that launched Diddy's career and has been home to some of the biggest names in hip-hop over the years. But with Diddy's mounting legal troubles, the future of the label is looking shaky. Artists are hesitant to associate themselves with a label embroiled in legal drama, and fans are beginning to question whether they want to support someone with such a tarnished reputation. In an industry that revolves around reputation and influence, Diddy's stock is dropping fast. Then there's his partnership with Ciroc. Diddy has been the face of Ciroc for years and has played a key role in turning it into one of the most popular premium spirits on the market. But with everything going on, you have to wonder how long Ciroc will continue to stand by him. In today's climate, where brands are quick to sever ties with anyone facing controversy, it wouldn't be surprising if Ciroc decided to quietly phase Diddy out. Despite his past value to them, the negative press surrounding him might be too much for them to handle.
Don't trust nobody. In Hollywood specifically, when you get there, a lot of people don't know how to say no. That's the difference between New York City and California.
It's not just Diddy's business ventures that are at risk. His legacy as a cultural icon is on the line as well. For years, he has been regarded as one of the most influential figures in hip-hop, winning countless awards, collaborating with some of the biggest names in the industry, and helping to shape the sound of modern music. But all of that could come crashing down if he's convicted. Scandals like this are hard to forget, and even if he manages to avoid jail time, his reputation will be forever tarnished. The hip-hop community is already beginning to distance itself from him. Artists who once looked up to Diddy are staying silent, and the industry as a whole seems to be bracing for the fallout. The impact on his legacy could be profound, altering how he is remembered in an industry built on reputation and influence.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
And let's not forget about his family. We've already discussed how his sons, Christian and Justin, have been caught up in the drama. But what about the rest of his family? Diddy has always portrayed himself as a family man, but these accusations paint a very different picture. His children are old enough to understand what's happening, and they're likely feeling the pressure just as much as he is. It's difficult to imagine what it must be like to have your father's name plastered all over the news for something like this. As the legal battle drags on, the situation is only going to get more complicated and stressful for them. The implications of his actions extend far beyond his own reputation. They affect his entire family, who are now forced to navigate the fallout.
It's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come, within the next 2 years?
Easy to see why. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars, which is a pretty strong incentive to flee. As the trial date approaches, all eyes will be on the courtroom. The outcome could have huge repercussions, not just for Diddy, but for everyone connected to him.
That he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it, where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on side watch.
But what's even more concerning is the possibility that more people will come forward with their own stories. We've already seen several lawsuits filed, but if the rumors are true, there may be many more individuals who have been impacted by Diddy's actions. As the investigation continues, we could see even more charges added to the case. This legal battle is far from over, and it's only going to get more intense as more evidence comes to light. The real question is, can Diddy survive this? Can his empire withstand the pressure, or is this the beginning of the end for one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment industry? It's hard to say. On one hand, Diddy has weathered scandals before and always managed to come out on top, but this time feels different. The stakes are higher, and the accusations are far more serious. Even if he avoids jail time, his reputation may suffer damage that's impossible to recover from. And what about his sons? Christian, Justin, and Quincy have all been affected in one way or another. They've grown up in the spotlight, living in the shadow of their father's success, and now they're also facing the weight of his scandals. Can they step out from that shadow and build their own legacies? Or will they always be tied to their father's controversial past? Who own things for certain? This story is far from over. The legal battle is just getting started, and as more details emerge, we're about to see just how deep this goes. Will Diddy's empire crumble under the weight of these accusations, or will he find a way to bounce back as he has in the past?